how have you guys, bounced back from the loss? Early thoughts to speak on bouncing back and everything.
Uh, we just we let them. I feel like we let them off the hook. We all did. So we just gonna get back to the drawing board. Fix the little mistakes that we had. We got them in third and long in some situations, and we had some penalties. Like I said, little things, man. We just clean up a lot of little things and go into the home opener and try to get a big win versus Campbell.
We talked to Tegan after, and he said it was kind of emotional going
Yeah.
in, being back in the Pirate uniform. He just
Mm.
walked us through the build up to the game and back in the Pirate uniform.
Man, it's big, man. Like, see, now I'm 0-2 versus State. So, yeah, going into that game, it was big. I know I wanted to beat those guys. We all did, but it was a big game for me and Tegan because in 22, they got us here at home. So, yeah, we wanted that game. So, yeah, not to knock State or anything. Like, they're a pretty good football team. But, yeah, it was big for us going into the game, though. A little emotional back in the Pirate uniform, first one. So, yeah.
We saw you get the sack. You hitting this celebration.
No, really with the Celtics, I really don't think. It really would just come to mind. As long as it's not too much of nothing, I don't get a flag about Coach Harrell get on me. So, yeah.
Defensively, how did it feel like you guys kind of adjusted and got better as
Mhm.
the game went in this one?
Well, we got down early, what I'm saying? So we were kind of playing with our backs against the wall. But, when I was here the first time around, we just had this motto with Coach Harrell, next play, just keep playing. So we just kept battling, we started to come back, we made some big plays and got some stops down the stretch.
Was there a certain moment that you thought gave defense confidence when it flipped?
Uh, yeah, I'd say when Teagan got that interception. Also, another key, special team, we got the fake punt. That actually helped too. That was a big momentum shift. So yeah, that's I think we got some momentum of those two things.
So
Yeah.
you guys staying pumped on the sideline. How important was that for y'all to come back into the game?
Well, halftime, we were just preaching to everybody, just stay together. That led to Pirate Nation. We came roaring the second half, so yeah, that helped us a little bit too.
In terms of practice today, it seemed like guys were not just quieter, but more locked into this week. I mean, just following that loss, do you feel like
Yes.
you're just extra motivated now to continue to prove yourselves?
Yeah, definitely, because we lost to our rival, NC State. So yeah, we all kind of not really hanging our head, but more locked in at practice, focusing on the little things that we messed on in the game, and leading to this week. We want to fix those things. Have a big win versus Campbell this week, home opener.
Everybody loves playing at home, as you just said. Home
Oh
opener.
yeah.
So what's that feel like for you guys? What's the vibe like?
It feels great, man. This will be my last first Pirate walk. It's a lot of last first things going on for a lot of seniors, man. So yeah, it's gonna be big, man. Home opener versus Campbell. They're a good football team, so yeah, it should be exciting.
Was it tough kind of preparing? Obviously you got a new coordinator, so many things to prepare for. Do you think that kind of made it tough, like early out the gate against State?
I won't really say that. I mean, it's kind of with a new coordinator. I mean, you might get signals in a little late, things like that. But I mean, that's why we just bore our backs and still play the next play.
Is it like running on the Dowdy Ficklin for your last home opener and just in years
Yeah.
past, and just describe that moment?
Man, the moment is no feeling. Watching Steve the Pryor throw out his sword. We all run out together. As soon as I hear that horn, I know what time it is. That smoke go in the tunnel, I know what time it is. Oh yeah.
So there were a lot of new D linemen. You coming back in. It felt like y'all played pretty good up
Mhm.
front. So just how would you kind of assess the whole group?
Oh yeah, Ryan Roseboro, Zion Wilson had a big game. We all just preach play together. If one makes a play, we all make a play. I try to celebrate with those guys as much as I can. So yeah, leading to going into this week, we feel like we all will be pretty much rotating the same way. So yeah, we should have another big week up front. Oh yeah.
They played two quarterbacks last week. Just kind of what did you see on the scouting report? What's the difference in the two quarterbacks that you saw from Campbell on film?
Well, one, he's kind of more. We're thinking more kind of scramble when he's in. He can throw it now. We're not saying he can't throw it, but more scramble. So we have a lot of vision rush going on with him. And the other guy, it'll be more of a lot of run game with him too. So yeah, but he can throw it a little better than the other guy. But heavy run with number one.
You
Yeah.
mentioned Ryan Roseboro. I mean, to see his adjustment and to see him kind of mesh with the team so quickly in year one with the Pirates, what have you mostly been impressed with his game?
I'm impressed with his run game. Coming from Townsend, and he's a 2.52 guy. So yeah, he kind of molded with the team easily. We all hung out a lot in the summer and off season. So yeah, I think he's excited, and yeah, he's gonna be a good guy for us and in the future. So yeah, watch out for him.
When the offense is struggling like they did, in the first half, how important is it for you guys to try to give them a little momentum boost like you guys?
Well, like I said, going in the halftime, we just try to keep everybody healthy. We don't knock each other or powers don't beat powers, as we like to say. We just try to keep everybody up. And, they make a good play, we make a good play. We don't get to stop. They try to keep us up. We just try to keep each other up as the game goes on.
Darius, just talk about the team's mindset. Played well in the second half. Came up a little bit short. How have you guys bounced back?
Yeah, it's a lot to pick up off of. There's a lot of good things that happen in the second half, and it's promising going into week two. 24-hour rule. We're done with that game, learned from it, and we're on to Campbell this week.
your first start at center here. Just how was that experience? How much you feel like you grew?
Yeah, honestly, I felt like I grew a lot. It's a lot different. From a communication standpoint, and kind of like leading all the guys together. But I felt like I, got comfortable in that role as the game went on, and I've, put a lot of work in since start of the spring. So I feel like I've gained a lot with that first game.
What do you think the biggest difference was from the first half to the second half? You guys had to get going?
Honestly, it was just like Zay talked about, just Pirates not beating Pirates. We made a lot of like mental errors, little mistakes in that first half, and we kind of picked it up and cleaned up a little bit going into that second half. Still a lot of things we can pick up, but definitely in that first half, it was a lot of mental and little errors.
When you watch the film, what do you think needs to be fixed to open up the run game?
Honestly, again, like I said, there's little mistakes that we make, little technique, fundamental errors, and kind of just working as a unit. O-line especially, we really have to be on the same page. Whether that's with our spots, IDs, and again, technique fundamentals. So really, that's a big emphasis for us this week is just making sure we're all on the same page and keeping the technique refined.
I think third and fourth down, you guys were like 7 of 20 overall. I mean, what do you think were kind of the biggest issues on those downs for you guys?
Again, like I just mentioned, there was a lot of errors. Defense is kind of heated up on those downs and making sure we're keyed into knowing the situation, knowing what we got to do, and just coming off the rock. That's a big thing as well. And I feel like that we'll clean that up this week going into next week.
In terms of the tough start in the first and second quarter, then you guys picked it up. How vocal or what leadership qualities were you seeing out of Caton to keep you guys all together and locked in?
Yeah, Caden's a big role in that. One thing about him, he's always cool, and he never really gets rattled, and that was big going into the second half. It's easy for teams to kind of be in that situation and kind of lose all hope, sort of. And he was big in keeping us all encouraged and keeping cool and being his regular self, which is Caton Hauser.
When you play center, I guess you gotta naturally be a leader. So is that something you have naturally? Do you have to take that on? How was that process been?
I feel as from a football standpoint, I do like being like, I like making the calls and things of that sort. But the leadership role, that's been something I've been working on, throughout the summer, just getting guys together to do extra stuff or just being more vocal in general. That's always something I'm looking to improve.
In an environment like that, how was the communication up front?
Yeah, they have a good environment. It's loud in there. But during practice last week, we had the speakers blasting. So we were preparing for, the loud having to be vocal, having to be loud. And I feel like it wasn't that big of an issue in the game. And I felt like we were okay in that standpoint.
What's it going to be like running back out or running out, I guess, for the first time for you on Saturday here at Dowdy-Picklen?
Well, it's always crazy in Dowdy, there's no environment at this level like it. It's crazy, and I can't wait.
Just curious, like how much communication goes on up front? Because we hear about it.
Yeah.
Before the snap, you guys are trying to ID everything.
Yeah.
How much goes in?
I can run you through it a little bit. So before each play, you got to ID the front, and then you got to ID the which linebacker is like our ID in that, and then we have like combo calls, or if it's pass, we have slide protection calls and that sort of thing. And if we can, if we see if they're bringing certain blitzes, if certain things we recognize, we can call that out to each other, just kind of give an alert and that sort of stuff before play.
Obviously, you want to win the football game, but late in the game, you guys were able to break out some longer runs.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys are doing a better job getting to that second level. Does that give you guys just more motivation and more self-belief going into game two after kind of a shaky start in one game?
Absolutely. It's kind of a teaser, we had wished, obviously, that we'd started that way, but now we see what we can do, and it's just something we can build off of, and definitely something we're excited for going into Campbell.
Kind of unique yard hunt against Cam Durant.
Yeah.
Do you try to not talk to him leading up to the game? How does that go?
I wouldn't say necessarily not talk to him, but again, they're our opponent, and it's just one more team in the way of our goals.